Hello students, welcome to SR Concepts. I am Ravi Verma and in this video we will discuss the topic pressure exerted by gases. So dear students, there are two examples related to your life in which you experience that gases also exert pressure. For example, when you inflate a balloon, do you have to close its mouth? Yes, if you don't close the mouth, then the air will come out. What happens when you open the mouth of an inflated balloon? Suppose you have a balloon which has holes. What will happen? The air will escape out of the balloon. If you open the mouth of the balloon, or if the balloon has some holes, then the air will move out of it. Would you be able to inflate it? No, you will not be able to inflate if it has pores, if it has holes. So why you are not able to inflate a balloon in this case? Because the air, when the air is being entered into the balloon, the air will fill the space inside the balloon actually, and it will inflate the balloon because it will apply pressure. So air is actually applying pressure on the rubber sheet of the balloon. This is why the balloon is being inflated. But in case if there is a pore in the balloon, the air will move out of it with a large amount of pressure. So you can say that air exerts pressure in all directions. Why you can say the air exerts pressure in all directions? Because balloon is being inflated in all directions. Another example is that, do you recall what happens to the air in the bicycle tube when it has a puncture? So whenever you get a puncture in your tire, in fact the puncture is actually in the tube, that is called tire tube of the tire, right? So when your tire tube gets a puncture, you know that all the air moves out of it. So do these observations suggest that air exerts pressure on the inner wall of an inflated balloon or a tire tube? So we find that gases too exert pressure on the walls of their container. So wherever there is a gas kept inside a container, it will exert pressure. So gas exerts pressure on the wall of their container, right? Now let's move on to a very important topic, that is atmospheric pressure. As you know that gases exert pressure, and you know that air is a mixture of gases. We can say air is in gaseous state, right? So obviously this air should also apply a pressure on us. We know that the earth, suppose this is the earth, we know that air is covered by a blanket of, sorry, the earth is covered by a blanket of air, means there is a thick layer of air around the earth. This air is called atmosphere. Now you know that the air is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, argon, right? These all gases are made up of atoms and molecules, which are actually the matters which have their own masses. As you know that the air is made up of matter and matter has mass, so this mass should be, these particles of air should have mass, and these should be attracted towards the earth because of gravitational force. So we know that the particles of air are being pulled towards the earth due to gravitational force that we have learnt in the same chapter. So as you know that the air particles are being pulled towards the earth due to gravitational force. So when the particles are being pulled towards the earth, they should apply a pressure on the surface of earth, or anything which is present on the surface of earth. So dear students, what is atmospheric pressure? This is a pressure which is exerted by air particles, or we can say the air, on the surface of earth, because the air is being pulled towards the earth due to gravitational force. Let's have a look what is written here. You know that there is air around us. This envelope is known as atmosphere. This envelope of air is known as atmosphere. The atmospheric air extends up to many kilometers actually. So above the, suppose this is the surface of earth, so up to many kilometers this atmosphere exists. So the pressure exerted by this air on the surface of earth is known as atmospheric pressure. As we know that pressure is force per unit area, if we imagine a unit area and a very long cylinder standing on it filled with air, then the force of gravity on the air in this cylinder is the atmospheric pressure. So suppose we have imagined this unit area, this one as shown in this cylinder. Here you can see this one. So suppose there is a cylinder from the surface of earth up to the end point of the atmosphere. This whole cylinder that is filled with the air, right, will apply pressure on earth. Alright, let's move on to the next slide, how large the atmospheric pressure is. So we need to find out, we need to imagine how large is the atmospheric pressure. So dear students, so one idea you can get about the magnitude of atmospheric pressure by this activity. You might have seen the suckers like this, the rubber cups like this. So when you press this rubber sucker on a smooth surface, what you are doing, you will see that when you will press on a smooth surface, it will stick to the surface, right? And to pull it off the surface, you will have to apply a large amount of force, right? So if you want to remove from the surface, you will have to apply force on it. So dear students, what actually happens? Why does this rubber sucker gets attached to or stick to the smooth surface? This is because actually when you are pressing the rubber cup on the smooth surface, you are removing the air between the rubber cup and the smooth surface. So when you will press harder, you will remove more and more air from the space between the rubber cup and the surface. Now because between the surface and the rubber cup there is no air pressure, but over the rubber cup there is a lot of air, there is a lot of atmospheric pressure. So because of this atmospheric pressure, the rubber cup is getting attached to the or stick to the wall. If you want to remove this rubber cup, you will have to apply equal amount of force as compared to the atmospheric pressure. So the force that you are applying to remove this rubber cup should overcome the atmospheric pressure which is acting on this in the opposite direction. In fact, if you are anyhow able to remove complete air from this space between the rubber cup and the smooth surface, in that case no human being will be able to remove this rubber cup from the surface, because at this end there will be no pressure, but at this end there will be a large amount of pressure. So from this activity you can understand that atmospheric pressure is actually very heavy, we can say, right? Now how large is the atmospheric pressure? You can also get an idea from this one also, that suppose there is an area of 15 into 15 centimeter, that is 15 square centimeter area on the surface of earth. Do you know how much atmospheric pressure is working on it? The pressure is equal to actually 225 kg mass, we can say. Means this pressure, the atmospheric pressure, will be equal to the gravitational force that is being applied on an object of mass 225 kilogram. So this much amount of pressure, this much amount of force is being applied by the atmosphere on the surface of earth on every 15 square centimeter area. So this is a quite large pressure or a quite large weight, we can say, right? So why is this the case that we are not being crushed under this heavy pressure. We are not being crushed under this heavy pressure because our body is, you know that our body is made up of cells, and there are many fluids like blood and lymph also. So they have their own pressure, right? This is the atmospheric pressure, which is very heavy, you know, and your body is also having your internal pressure. So this internal pressure of the body, right, is actually almost overcoming the pressure of atmosphere. That's why we are not being crushed by this atmospheric pressure. What is written? The reason we are not crushed under the force of gravity is that the pressure inside our bodies is also equal to the atmospheric pressure and balances the pressure from outside. Alright. So students, you can understand how heavy is the atmospheric pressure. Now something else is given here. Otto von Guericke, a German scientist of 17th century, invented a pump to extract the air from a vessel. So he invented a machine, a pump, which can extract all the air from any vessel and can create vacuum inside that. So what he did, with the help of this pump, he demonstrated dramatically the force of the air pressure. He joined two hollow metallic hemispheres of 51 centimeter diameter each and pumped air out of them. Then he employed 8 horses on each side, 8 horses on this side and 8 horses on this side, to pull these two hemispheres apart, right? So great is the force of the air pressure that the hemispheres could not be pulled apart. So dear students, from this activity, from this example, you can understand, you know, that when these two hemispheres were joined together and the air was sucked out of the space inside this sphere, right? So inside the sphere there was vacuum, right? And in the outside, you know that there is a large amount of atmospheric pressure, right? So because of this atmospheric pressure, the two hemispheres could not be separated because internal pressure was zero and external pressure was very heavy. This pressure is the atmospheric pressure, right? So students, I hope you got the concept of atmospheric pressure, right? What is basically, let's conclude. You know, basically atmospheric pressure is the pressure exerted by the air. For example, on the area of your head there is a large amount of air, and this air is applying pressure because air is being pulled towards the earth due to gravitational force, right? So thank you for watching the video. Please like and share the video, and prepare your own notes also from this video. Take the screenshots or pause the video and prepare your own notes.